Welcome.
Welcome to
Cigar
Public.
Public. Welcome to Cigar Public.
Hi, I am Luciano from Luciano Cigars, and I'm here with Cigar Public. Is that it?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I am sitting with Luciano Meirelles of Luciano Cigars here at PCA 2023, here at the Luciano Cigars booth. Thank you for taking the time with us here at Cigar Public.
Thanks for coming.
So let's go back to when you first made your foray into creating cigars, your first project. How difficult was it? What was the most difficult hurdle to overcome? Just talk a little bit about that.
So that's I don't think anybody ever asked me that question.
I'm interested.
I love that. I think, and that question is connected with another question, which is what makes the identity of our company. And I think is the fact that I turn a medical condition, a pain, into something that we could, into building, something that we could create and develop from the pain, right? Having synesthesia created in my head always that feeling that if I make a cigar with the same taste profile that's out there, if I just kind of repeat something. You know when you smoke a cigar, and that cigar reminds you of something you smoked
I've had
before?
this before, right.
Better version, worse version, whatever.
Right.
I think in our case was like, can we produce something that actually will not taste like anything that tastes out there? Because I always felt like if I make a cigar that tastes like another cigar, that would be cheating.
Exactly, yes.
Just because of the fact that I can memorize flavors, so it's easy for me to replicate flavors. Then it's cheating. So it was always for us a challenge is to create something that, so I remember when I start doing that, when I got to that realm, it was super hard because when you navigate to the edge, it can be a 50% failure and 50% success. You never know.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen. And we decided to take the risk. And the first product that we developed, the first product was 15 years ago, but as a brand, you know, as you know, having our own brands out there, that was, I think, the first one, if I'm not wrong, was the Dreamer. I think it was the Dreamer. And the Dreamer was based on the idea that the only thing that makes us different from any other animals on the planet is our capacity to imagine, our capacity to dream and create things, right? So we started like changing a little bit the construction of Lanceros to make sure the Lancero has a perfect draw.
Right.
And that was the key point for everything, you know, using smaller leaves actually to build the Lancero, interposing them instead of using a long leaf.
Right.
Because it usually gets plugged in the middle.
Right.
Making a Lancero attractive by using the small leaves, you also control the performance of flavor. Usually Lanceros, people smoke a Lancero and they get bored by the Lancero.
Right,
because the flavor is very concentrating on the tip of the leaf. And then as they smoke, when it hits the middle, it's really good and then start mellowing it down too much. So we kind of fixed that with that specific project. So I think that was probably the biggest challenge, to create something disruptive right off the bat.
And looking back, knowing now how difficult it was, do you have any idea of I would do it again if I knew how hard it was going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. I think.
Doesn't sound like you have any regrets about this.
Listen, when I say this, it might sound terrible, but my entire life has been pain.
Yes.
So I've learned how to live and cope with pain, and I don't think I can survive without having to kind of fight for something. And I think everything that we produce today, that we're presenting to the trade show, the cigar you smoke and the Panda, are actually fruits of that hard work. That's not just me, actually. I think we created a culture in our company from, you know, farming to the final product of the shelf, that people have to put intention, have to put work, and I think we are achieving that.
Now, you touched a little bit on this earlier. I'll just kind of ask again. In your mind, what is it that you bring to the cigar world that others don't? What is it that you do best that sets you apart from the rest in this very crowded industry?
I think what we bring to this market that sets us apart is the fact that we produce disruptive taste profiles. We
Yes.
create cigars, and we try, of course. We cannot, I cannot be arrogant and say, oh, we make the best cigars. I don't think we make the best cigars in the world. I think there's a lot of good companies making very good cigars, and you see them all over here at the trade show. But there are many companies who are focused on developing and creating that disruption. So we are intentionally thinking of every single cigar. If you're going to launch something, what that's going to be. I think our company stands out for that. I think there is an expectation of what we're going to put out in the market. And this year we're putting so many different things. And I think that's what it is. And people.
Yes.
I think people is, this company is people-centered. So we sacrifice immediate gains for long-term gains by sometimes taking the longer path, but focusing on making sure that everybody is taken care of and our people are taken care of. The people are treated with dignity from seed to shelf.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about the blend I'm smoking right now.
Oh, you're smoking the White Panda. So the White Panda is an interesting story. You should actually interview Panda. He's here. So Panda shows up one day at my factory. Literally knock at the door, security let him in. He say, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Panda. I look at him, I laugh. I say, who? So what's your name? So my name is Panda. So what do you mean? No, my name is Panda. That's my name. So okay. The guy told me his story. So he came from China, studied at the University of Michigan, graduated, started working in a cigar shop. Passion for cigars since he was like 18 years old.
Just the sort of person you want to meet.
Exactly. Super good heart, amazing guy. Love these people here. That's going to be in your interview. Talk to you guys later. And amazing cigar and amazing person. You're going to edit this, right? Anyways.
Yeah.
So amazing guy, amazing person, and super captivating. And the guy said, I want to learn tobacco. Would you teach me tobacco? With that broken English, I said, yeah. I think I will do that. So just hang around. That guy lived for a year in Nicaragua. He still lives there, actually. 6 months later, he was handling my Pueblo Nuevo farm. He has this very unique palate. Probably is one of the first Asian people that really got into the depth of tobacco. You know. So he went, he truly learned, he truly worked, and we decided to create a brand that'll be around his story. And that's exactly what you're smoking right now. And that cigar is probably one of the most disruptive of our line at the trade show.
It's very unique. The little that I've smoked so far, it jumps out at you. Yeah. It's unique. It's got these intangible flavor notes that it's hard to articulate, and I love discovering things like that because I'm always looking to discover new things with tobacco. Talking about the way you go about creating blends, it sounds like with the Panda, you had a story, and that story really struck a chord with you, and you've built a blend to fit that story.
Absolutely, 100%.
Is that typically the way you approach blends, or do the blends typically come first and then you build a story or theme around it?
That's the way I like it. Reminds me of a song. It's because I think that when you have truth behind anything you do, it's so much easier to sell. I think when you tell real stories, that relates to this generation right now. People are tired of bullshit. When they see truth, they gravitate around.
Yes.
And that cigar is exactly it really tells the story of the relationship and the willingness of an Asian guy who doesn't have tradition in tobacco to come and learn everything, and sitting down every day and talking about what can we create that will be disruptive, and what kind of brand would that be, you know? And then during the entire process, adding new things and new nuances, using this Brazilian tobacco with Sumatra, which would be technically completely antagonistic.
Right.
So they don't go well together.
Conflicting in every way.
We use that confliction, we use that paradox. That's why we say embrace the paradox.
Love that word, by the way.
So we use that paradox to actually add other tobaccos that will mute some things or will enhance things that we wanted to be enhanced in that cigar. Panda has tobaccos that are super acidic. Sumatra, Esteli, Jalapa, they're very acidic. And we use the alkaline tobacco as a binder, which is the Brazilian Arapiraca.
Right.
So that combination, using the Sumatra binder with all the saline as a background, so it was a very kind of interesting process. It's probably one of the blends that took us the most to kind of get the final product with everything that we are presenting at the show.
So looking at the cigar industry as it exists right now, what, if anything, would you like to see change or adjust to make the industry and the cigar culture more ideal in your mind?
Man, you have good questions.
Thank you.
I think that what will make this industry better and our world better, it's if we kind of transition from our industry being trying to sell mystery and just kind of shallow stories that goes just about wrapper, binder, and filler, and really start telling real stories, the reality of what this industry is. And I think people are doing that now. That's my perception, at least. So I'm an optimistic, by nature. But I believe that, again, we just mentioned this, I think people are tired of bullshit.
Right, yes.
And I think the industry needs companies that will present products and say the truth about this product. This is what it is. This is what it took to kind of make. It is a limited. It's a limited. Can I outsource this tobacco? I can, or this will be just a limited edition because I cannot outsource that specific tobacco.
Yes.
So, or I'll make sure that we're going to plan to kind of really launch a core line where we're always going to be able to. I'll give an example. Everybody sells the idea that in order for you to keep consistency in a cigar, you need to always keep the same blend and the same origin of the leaf, when it's actually the opposite. If you want to keep consistency in a cigar, you need to tweak that blend every year.
Right.
Because every year we have a different climate.
Exactly.
Every year we have different conditions. The rain comes in certain times of the year. Sometimes you have to start a little late. Sometimes actually we're using tobaccos in one lot of the farm, and then we have to rest that soil and go to the other part of the farm, which has less sunshade, and the outcome is different. So therefore, you're going to have to maximize sometimes certain predominances of tobacco by increasing a little bit so it stays the same.
Yes.
So those are things that are not, people just don't talk about. I could go over and over.
Listening to you talk, it's clear I'm talking to an artist, someone who looks at things, particularly your cigar making craft, as an art, something that is not static, it's always dynamic, and something that you always have to adjust to. And you also sound like someone who has, as artists do, a story they want to tell to draw people in, but also to educate them. And education, it sounds like, has a very high significance to you in what you're doing.
It does. I think every single event that we do, we try to really make that event an educational event. And the reason why we want to make it educational, it's because I believe that the more informed the consumer is, the more they will consume.
Yes.
The wine industry is there to prove that.
Right.
Now everybody loves to brag about their wine, the vintage, the region. Why? Because they will provide information.
Right.
Why we cannot do the same with cigars? I think we're starting to do that now.
Yes.
Many people that come here to do business with us, they're really well versed, so they know the regions, they ask questions, so where's this wrapper from, where's this binder from? But how we transport this into the consumer?
Right.
What are the tools that I can provide to the retailer so that he can tell that story to the consumer? Events help a lot to do that.
Yes.
And when we do educational events and show people how things are done, that's why I love to deconstruct cigars. But sometimes I'm always carrying tobacco leaves with me so I can make a presentation, show how that specific cigar was constructed.
Right.
And I think that makes a lot of difference, and people never forget.
So you are approached by someone very new to the lifestyle and to the hobby. What's something that you would think is the most key aspect for them to focus on to ensure that they have the best experience in the cigar industry, the cigar world?
Yeah, so it all depends what kind of experience you're talking about. If it's an experience of pleasure, and I would say just kind of pay attention to what you are smoking, and not let be taken by everybody trying to kind of tell you what you should be feeling or should be experiencing. I think that's very important, and unfortunately everybody, usually in our cigar culture, we always want to coach people into.
Right, telling them what they
Yeah.
should like, basically.
Sometimes you have to be patient, let people observe and experience and go through the experience. Now, there's another level of experience which are human or humanistic experience. I think in any consuming goods right now, I like to think that people are concerned about other human beings, right? So now you have like warning labels and everything.
Right.
People want to know what they put in their mouths. They want to know what's in there.
Right.
You know. But also, you see a lot of companies now also disclosing where that's made, and is that like really the labor is clean?
Right.
Are they using child labor? Are they using,
Right.
you know, what are the practices that they have with the environment and so forth? I think that's becoming more and more important. I hope when people smoke a cigar, they ask that question, you know, because that will prevent a lot of bad things to happen, you know?
Yes.
And that's important too. But from an experiential standpoint, I think just kind of close your eyes and pay attention and enjoy, just like we enjoy a very good food. You know, sometimes education is really good. I think it's good all the time, but sometimes it's important for you to enjoy,
Right.
you know? Like, have you ever experienced going to a very nice restaurant? It's a famous chef, or a Michelin star, whatever. You walk in and you have that food, you just don't know how he got there.
Right.
But you have that kind of almost transcendental experience with the food because you enjoy it so much, all the flavors. You don't go to the chef and say, what's the proportion of the tomato and how much you put of this onions, like
Yes.
2 grams or 3 grams? And,
Right.
like, so you don't go specific into the details, but at the same time, you are willing to provide that information, but the consumer should just pay attention in the experience he's having and just kind of be taken by the experience.
So let's talk just a little bit, before I let you go, about cigar media, industry news, that sort of thing. Are there any outlets that you pay attention to? Is there any cigar media that you like to consume?
Listen, again, going back to education, I love cigar media that provide truth and provide education and provide information. I think it's a lot of people out there trying to be cool.
Okay.
It's a lot of people there just trying to kind of develop following and build a business around that following. I think it's important. I understand business needs to be sustainable. My perception, again, is that podcasts, shows, media, write-ups that provide more education. They can be fun, but educational.
Right.
I think we'll see it, and I'm more attracted by it anyway. So I love to go to shows and people just laugh and make jokes and stuff and kind of make things light, but you gotta have some sort of education information, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to see more of in cigar publications, cigar media?
Yeah, I would love to see more information about tobacco.
Yes.
Not just this is the binder, this is the filler,
Right.
this is. So
What's special about those tobaccos?
Exactly. So and there's certain things that everybody can
Right.
you know, learn. So why this tobacco actually complements this tobacco? Why they're using this binder? Why should you actually not keep the ash too long?
Yeah.
And people love to have like the super long ash because
Right. It looks great on social media. Yeah.
I understand it's fun. I understand it's cool, and I'm nothing against it. But it's not the best way to smoke.
Right.
You know, keeping long ashes, you're just smoking tar, and
Right.
and not actually smoking the flavor of the cigars.
Right.
So again, we could go on and on about things that we can provide in terms of information on tobacco, regions where it's grown, and let's go to the details. So, are fertilizer used in the fields to grow tobacco? What's the effect of those fertilizers? What they cause in the taste profile? What are the pesticides that are used? So all these things we can talk about. We talk about in food. Why not talking about the cigars you smoke?
Absolutely.
You know, is there organic tobaccos, organic ways of growing tobacco? Yes, of course. So what's being used out there? You know, let's not avoid those topics and provide information as much as we can. And I think you're going to build a bigger audience.
Absolutely.
Naturally.
Luciano, I really appreciate your time.
Appreciate
Keep
you,
up your
brother.
great work.
Thank you.
I'm a great admirer of what you've been doing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your
Pleasure
PCA.
to meet you. Thank you.
too.